Welcome to the Whiskey Roundtable. We are your hosts.
Big G.
Karen Helen Keller.
Doug Dunbar.
And
Rob Richter.
Ah, yes.
Our special guest here.
And what do you always say? We brought in Rob because it's Canadian whiskey.
He's the closest thing to a Canadian we could get on short notice. So, Rob is from Wisconsin.
Yeah, we found him cleaning bathrooms when we brought him down here.
Yeah, I live further north than anyone else.
Don't worry about my shirt, but I put it on and we buttoned it up.
He lives further where?
Further north than anyone else.
Further north than anyone else.
Further north. Mm-hmm.
So every
Sometimes
time
he comes down south. But
we've already been playing a little game. Every time he says "a," then we have to drink. So that goes with all the audience members.
All right, let me switch this out.
We're gonna need a bigger bottle.
We're gonna need a bigger bottle, Karen.
So we're kind of celebrating Canada and Canadian whiskey tonight on the Whiskey Roundtable. So, yeah. This is the first time since I've been around is this the first time ever that we've done a Canadian
I'm going to
whiskey?
say yes.
We did do a show on Black Velvet some years ago, and I think we did it as a joke, and it proved to be a pretty good show. But this is the first time we've done a Canadian whiskey since then. So
so we'll get into all that in a little bit. So how's everybody doing?
Good.
I've been angry all week.
Absolutely.
Been very angry all week.
Why are you angry?
I don't know. I better go get myself checked out.
Maybe you need to have some more whiskey.
No, I'm good.
It'll make you forget why you're angry.
That's probably why I'm angry.
God.
Because you couldn't find a real Canadian?
Well, we got half a Canadian. That's all right.
He sounds like a Canadian.
He's a good guy.
So, when we have new guests, we always start off by kind of asking them how they kind of got into whiskey, and so why don't we start with that? Tell us a little bit about your experience with whiskey.
Well, most of my experience has been with whiskey and mixers, eh? I mean, until we get...
All right.
Oh, no. Hey.
I'm going to be self-conscious before the end of the show.
No, we don't. We don't. We
Don't let us Italians.
It'd be more fun if you
yeah.
just be yourself. It'd be a lot more fun for everyone.
So, it's on the rail. The Mountain Royals, the Crown Royals. Crown and Diet is kind of the staple back home.
Diet what? Coke?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And, as far as, like, tasting real bourbons and whiskeys, and then Greg got me introduced to that, and we've been getting a new appreciation.
We're trying a lot of different things.
So it's been an adventure. My bar has been growing and growing.
So I'm trying to get Kurt's bar to grow a little bit, but he's scared.
So but you growing up, you did in the earlier days up north. You did enjoy a lot of Canadian whiskeys. So.
Yeah. Mostly in mixers is how we drink it, and it's as far as a blended whiskey goes, it's.
What do you normally get up in Wisconsin? What do they usually have for our Canadian whiskey?
Your Mount Royals and your Crown Royals are
really, that's it.
Pretty staple on the bar.
I've never heard of Mount Royal. Have you guys heard of Mount Royal?
No.
Well, you have Canadian Club Rye.
We do, and it flies off the shelf. I mean, we've been buying quite a bit of it, especially the rye. The Canadian Club is very popular.
Awesome.
So the stuff you're buying these days, now that you have on your bar, what are your favorites?
Well, a lot of the oaky whiskeys and bourbons, had some scotches. The Glenlivet is my favorite now. The Old Foresters.
Sure.
Any of that oaky flavor is what I really like.
Sure. We had a great Wednesday cigar night, and we gave you a tour of some of the scotches. Some of the, not Canadian scotches, but I'm just saying some of the Scotland scotches, thank you. But they were good. We were just introducing you to a couple of different things. You were able to pick out some things. Some you liked better than others, but it was a good lineup, I think.
A lot of different years. I mean, when we look at cigars, we look at cheese, we look at the whiskeys, it's the same appreciation. sometimes they like the 10 and 12 year, don't like the 15 year, and then like the 20 year, eh?
Yeah.
It's
just relax. We're just busting your chops.
So it was so funny because Rob showed up, and the first thing I noticed was his shirt. I'm like, this is the perfect shirt for Canadian Whiskey Day.
when you said to come on the show, it's the only dress shirt I had in my suitcase.
That's why you're the right guy.
We were going to give him an axe, a blue bull, you know.
Chainsaw in the back.
Chainsaw, yeah.
A maple tree. We couldn't get the maple tree down here, though. We tried.
No, I will tell you that some of the Canadian whiskeys with the maple flavor and such, I'm not fans of.
Gotcha. I've only had, which isn't Canadian, but you was talking about maple flavors. I am not a big fan of Knob Creek, but they make a great maple bourbon. It's fantastic. Actually, it's fantastic.
Sometimes the added flavor
Well,
is
it can't be a
overtaken.
bourbon if it's maple.
Oh, well,
Well, unless it was
I just...
somehow.
Well, you know who turned me on to
You
it
can't-
was
no artificial
Matt
flavors or-
and Greg.
Matt Souza.
Matt Souza and Greg Simon. So,
Yeah.
and we on a Sunday morning, we were in a blizzard. We were putting furniture together for getting ready for the home and flower show, and we had Ralph outside and cutting up pallets, and of course me and Greg and Matt were inside drinking like fish. We killed that whole bottle, but
Maple
it was good. Knob Creek,
flavor,
yeah.
Knob Creek.
Yeah, very good. Actually, it was good in my coffee as well. Just so you know.
Sure.
Just saying.
Hey, everything has its place, right?
Well, if we have some time after you, if you're able to, we've got a Jack Daniels, what is it, 27?
We do.
It's a maple flavor. Jack Daniels actually is pretty good.
Yeah, I was surprised because I'm not that fan of mixing flavoring or whatever, if you will. You know, like blueberry or whatever. I'm just like, just not a fan of that. So my wife, the whole story was we were out, we went out and we got a couple of these chairs.
Yep.
We got a couple of these chairs that were sitting in, and that guy had a huge Pontiac collection, and I sent you some pictures. But so we start shopping all the way home, different liquor stores that I don't visit on occasion. So we found this one liquor store, and they had a great selection of stuff. And I'm looking at their display, and they have this Jack Daniels maple flavored, if you will. And I'm looking at it, and I look over at the counter, and my wife's putting the bottle on the counter, and the guy starts ringing up, and I start to say, no, no. And she's like, what? She goes, I said, I don't want that. She goes, well, I already paid for it. I'm like, oh. I'm like, okay. So I don't say nothing. I'm just like, oh.
He's like, great.
Yeah. Thanks, honey. So we come home, and I think it was me and Ralph, and you brought that bottle out, and we tried it, and it blew me away. It was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So we'll open that today. Give you a flavor of that. So anyway,
Might like it.
I think
Yep.
you'll enjoy it. So I know it's not Canadian, but I'm just saying, you know.
Mm-hmm.
No, we're talking about Canadian whiskeys, but just the maple flavor thing was.
Yeah, that's why
So,
I brought it up.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Good stuff.
Move along. Nothing to see here, kids.
Let me see here. We got Steve out there.
Brother Steven, I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Gee,
He's drinking some old Granddad 114.
That's what I'm
that's a
talking
nice
about.
one. That's a nice one.
Nothing better than an elderly guy drinking a 114 old Granddad.
Oh, it's named after him, Old Granddad.
Old Granddad.
There you go.
Hey, dye your hair before you come to Ohio. Just so you see. Go ahead.
Oh, that's bad. That's really bad. So, any other questions you want to ask Rob? You guys got any?
Well, Wednesday you guys got into a story about, I don't know if you remember or not, you guys were talking about some Canadian whiskeys or something. Or did you guys forget about that? Or?
What were we talking about in specifics?
But you said
We
save it
talked
for the
about a lot
show,
of-
so
Oh,
Oh, the history of Crown Royal and
yeah, I
the
think so.
making it for the king and queen when they
there you
visited
go.
Canada.
There.
And I believe that was real clear on a lot of history. I think it was 1939, I believe, 35, 39, I believe it was. when they visited, and then that was created in their honor. And if I remember the story right, they took cases back with them, 10 cases, 12 cases, something like that. And then people loved it, and it's been around ever since.
Right.
You know, it still came in that nice bag.
The purple velvet.
Yep. So it was, you know, if it's good enough for a king, it's good enough for the rest of the world. And I want to say it was before I was born, but probably 60s, I think, is when they started in the U.S. It really became popular.
It's very popular here. Absolutely very popular here. Everybody loves it. I'm not a fan, but they do have Crown Royal does have some great products out there that I've experienced. You know, Crown Royal, I think it was Crown Royal Black, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Very, very good product. You know.
Black. We polished off a lot of black.
Yeah. So.
Not to, yeah, in the Whiskey Wizard today, in researching for that episode.
Right.
There, we'll get into that, but there's a lot. The Canadian whiskey market is kind of behind, if you will, in coming out with premium offerings, but so they've got a lot of room to grow, and they're starting to grow into that. So there's a lot more boutique premium brands that are starting to show up, from some smaller distillers making premium products, which we'll talk about on the Wizard. So yeah, and that kind of led to tonight's selection, because this is kind of their, well, I don't want to steal your thunder, but it's kind of entry level in that 40 Creek is one of the kind of the ones that's making a lot of whiskeys that are getting a lot of attention. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And they're all blended.
Well, yeah, I think that it. Yeah, this one is definitely a blended. But and it's all in definitions. But they're taking different grains, actually distilling them, then they barrel age them, and then they mix them together. So it's a little bit different than how it's normally done, right? But
that was always with the Crown Royal. It was consistent flavor all the time. 'Cause there's 50 blends in there to make it, and it has a consistent flavor year round.
It's I'm not a fan of the standard, but I am a fan of some other products as well. But that's just my palate, So
Ralph says it's great in chicken wing sauce.
Yes, that's true.
Yes,
you go, boy.
You can make some really, really good chicken wings and lasagna. I will
and
say.
It's cheaper than the chicken wings now.
It's true.
Yeah,
That's
there's a
true.
chicken shortage.
Chicken shortage. We went for chicken wings on Monday, and the girl said, "Well, the price went up because there's a chicken shortage." I'm like, "What? Chicken shortage? Chicken wings?"
Oh, yeah.
So,
It's
but
right there behind gas, I guess.
I guess right there behind fuel. So, but we had a great time there. It was. It's always good food there.
You'd think there'd be a lot of wings, eh? I mean, there's so many.
Well, you were there. Oh,
because
my-
everyone's got a chicken sandwich. So where all the wings go?
Oh, that sounds
Just
like
a
a
thought.
Friday.
I don't know. Steve Williams says Crown Royal Monarch is good, and so is the rye. I've never heard of the Monarch.
I haven't either, actually.
I haven't
the
either.
rye. I think I have a bottle of
I know.
rye. I have to
Remember-
check. I
remember
think I have a
seeing
bottle of Crown Royal rye. So, what are you smoking there? Do you remember? That I gave you?
A cigar.
You'll have to tell the story. I know it's.
So it's a Lafleur.
Yep.
And so that is a Andalusian Bull, which was a very limited series of cigars, and it's been obsolete for a couple of years, and now it's starting to hit the shelves again. But that's a really, really good cigar. Lafleur puts out a lot of great products, and that's one of my favorite cigars is the Lafleur brand. So.
Yeah, now that you say that, I can see the word. I couldn't read it before.
Yeah.
I thought it was in a foreign language.
And Steve, I'm smoking a San Lotano, which you turned me on to many years ago. So I always keep those around too. So we'll have some good cigars when you get in town. So.
Yeah, and I would just like to say I am so proud of you for sharing these Andalusian Bulls, because Greg is the type of person, when he gets something, he's so happy and proud. Like, he displays it. He's like, look what I have. Don't touch it. But look what I have.
Well, so I had to arm wrestle my partner from Royal Havana Cigars. I have, every time I've gotten my hands on a Indelusion Bull, someone else has smoked it for me. And so I've never had one. The first time I had an Indelusion Bull, Ralph was traveling, and he brought us back a couple of cigars. And Kurt and myself and Ralph, we actually smoked a cigar. We had 3 of them. We each smoked them at the same time. They were very, very good cigars. And I happened to a buddy of mine that is a manager for a chain store. We were always talking cigars, and he says, "Hey, so and so at the PR Cigar in Solon." He says he's got boxes of. He couldn't think of the name of it. He says it's a LFD cigar. LFD. It's really rare. You can't. I said, "Talk about Indelusion Bulls." He goes, "That's it." And I'm like, "He's got them now?" He says, "Yeah." He goes, "I just bought one." So I said, "I'm going there as soon as I leave here." So I went there, and I said, "Nick, you got Indelusion Bulls?" He says, "Yeah, I got 4 boxes." I said, "I'll take a full box and whatever box you have that's open." So I ended up with a cigar box of 8 cigars and a full box of the Indelusion Bulls. Dave only had a couple of them, like probably 2 years ago, and I said, "You got a box?" Oh, he goes, "I got 1 box that's not open." I said, "I'll take it." He goes, "I'm not selling it to you." I go, "What do you mean you're not selling it to me?" He says, "Gee, those are big dollar cigars, this and that, but I'll never see them again." I go, "So let me see if I got this right. I'm your partner, and you won't. I can't have a box of cigars." He's and he gets into MF-ing me and everything else. I go, "Whoa, relax, relax. Just give me a good price on it." He goes, "God damn it, I'm not giving you. You're not taking the box of cigars." I go, "Oh, so that's how you're going to be, really?" I said, "Okay, that's all right. You know what? Stick your Indelusion Bulls up your ass. Smoke every one of them." So. So he says, "I don't want to talk about this." I said, "Okay." So I go back to Cigar Lounge the next week, and he says, "All right, you can have. I got 1 box left. You can have it." I said, "All right." I said, "Well, I'm not paying full price for it." It's like, "Oh, you son of a bitch!" Blah blah blah. I said, "Stop! Are you selling it to me or aren't you?" He's like, "Oh." So I got it at 10% above what his cost was. So I wrapped the box. I humidified it, wrapped it, put it in with all the other bags of cigars that I have that have never been opened. And then this came up, and just like last week. And so I bought that box and a half that I had. So we talked about that a couple weeks ago because you were gone for a couple weeks. And I meant to give you that cigar, and I forgot about it. So when you came back, that's what I wanted you to smoke today.
How old are these?
Oh shit! That's probably 6 years old.
Because it's got to be about one of the smoothest aged cigars.
Yeah. So, but so I have a box that's got 7 left in it, and we're gonna smoke 5 of those on Monday, and I have another box to share as well. So I still have a box that it's not open. And I have a box to share as time goes on. So, but I wanted you to try that. It was important to me to make sure that you had that cigar. Kurt liked it. Another cigar. Not to get off topic, guys. I'm sorry. Last year, a year and a half ago, my birthday, and I pulled out a box of Soprano cigars, and my wife's like, "You are not opening that box." I said, "Stop! You yell when I'm." I have all these cigars, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, "You're not opening that box." I said, "Nope, it's a special day. It's my birthday. I'm opening a box." It was just me, you, and Kurt. We were watching playoff games for the college ball, and we all smoked till our fingers burned. One of the best cigars. So then, fast forward, about a month ago, I had that open box. I've had this box of cigars for 26 years. 26 years, I think I had that box during the Soprano series. So me, Frank, Dave, everybody, and we killed that box of cigars. So it was great. I still have another box, but that's okay.
Craig's always got some of the finest things, eh?
Thanks, bro.
What's the Giovanni whiskeys recently?
Have I bought any whiskeys recently? Come on now. I got some Canadian Club Rye, thanks to our Canadian friend over there.
Okay, good deal.
Our almost Canadian friend.
Anyway, back to the show, kids. Sorry. Thanks for my banter. I appreciate you guys watching.
I just got a bottle of Signatory Ela 11-year-old. Just the other day.
You cracked it open yet?
Yes, I did. Shauna asked me why that bottle of whiskey that I just bought the day before was half empty. I told her it's because you're a pessimist.
I'll tell you what I did get in the last week. I got 8 bottles. I got a Angel's Envy Rye.
Ralph, you didn't hear that.
I got 2 Fighting Cocks, and I had to separate them. But crazy shit. Can't put them in the same box. The guy gets all crazy. I got what else did I get? I got 2 Buffalo Trace single barrels, and trying to think what else. I got a Michter's bottle. I can't remember what it is that you can't get in Ohio. So
that's not what we're drinking right now, is it?
No. So we're actually Marion and Emily and Louie bought me a Michter's small batch, which I love. That's one of my favorite Michter's, is right there. And I think we've all had it. We all like it. It's I think that's what you guys are drinking now.
So we're about T-minus 1 week away from the big event, right?
Mm-hmm. The wedding.
Yes.
The wedding. Amen.
Finally.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. We'll have a good time.
Exciting.
I think Steve's coming in on the 23rd. Let me know, brother, who's coming with you. I need to know who's coming with you. I just want to determine who's sleeping in the garage and who's sleeping in a real bed. But
or on the back porch.
Or on the back porch. But I got to pull in the pond if they want to swim, but they can swim in the pond. But so we got that going on. So if Steve comes in, if he's coming in on Sunday, he'll take care of the dogs, and those guys will do their things. And if I know they're coming in on Sunday, I'll make sure they have cigars and different things like that. So, and then following week is Memorial Weekend.
Right.
So
should we get into the whiskey?
Let's do it.
We can.
Okay, let's start. I think we should show the audience what the bottle looks like.
Let's go show with the bottle cam right now.
Hey everyone, it's time for the bottle cam. The bottle
Hold
cam.
on your seats.
Pull your pants up.
Here it comes.
Whoa.
Look at that Terry Bradshaw sitting next to the bottle. All right.
So
yeah, that's an exciting ride, isn't it?
That's exciting. The other one, the next bottle cam that we have is even better.
Yeah. Okay, well,
all right.
So
should we get to it?
Now, how do we say this properly? The name of this this whiskey is.
It's an Ordy Creek.
It's a who?
An Ordy Creek.
Ordy Creek.
Ordy Creek. Ordy Creek.
Ordy Creek. I learn something every day.
There you go.
I always thought they spoke English in Canada too. Who knew? So yes, this is Ordy Creek. It's the Premium Barrel Select. It's a newer whiskey. It's a newer distillery. It was founded in 1992 by John Hall and master blender Bill Ashburn. They set out to do something a little bit different and create a new path for Canadian whiskey. And it took them 8 years to finally get to a product that they
they're
enjoyed.
trying to really make an effort to raise the quality of the Canadian whiskey brand. So they're trying to come out with more high-end offerings, or at least offerings that will appeal more to the refined whiskey lover taste. So that's one of the reasons we went that direction for tonight.
So can I just say it? I mean, I know usually we pretty much say everything on the Whiskey Roundtable,
well,
right? So, you said raising the bar. Did you? You said raising the bar on Canadian whiskey, and my first reaction was, well, it's not a very high bar.
True. Well, that's true. I mean,
it's no secret I am not a fan of Canadian whiskeys. Greg had bought one online not too long ago, and it was all the rave, and we tried it. Well, no, I wouldn't even try it because it was Canadian whiskey, to be honest with you.
It was so bad. Actually,
The one in Alberta. That
oh, terrible.
Yeah, so he
Terrible.
tried it, and he's like, "Oh, it's terrible. Here, try this."
I told
Here, smell this.
I told Mark Anderson. From the co-op. We were talking about it. He had a bottle. He said, "Oh, gee, I got I've got a bottle. I got another one coming. I never had it yet." I go, "Stop." And he goes, "What?" I go, "I have an open bottle of the Alberta. It's only had 4 tastes out of it. I mean, barely anything came out of it." He said, "Okay." I said, "It's yours." He's like, "What do you mean?" I go, "Can't do it. Way too hot for me. There's nothing about it that I like. I'm either going to give it away or make Manhattans out of it, or you can take the bottle, enjoy it, and then you have, if you like it," because he likes heat. I said, "You keep the bottle and enjoy it, and then you have 2 extra bottles." He's like, "Are you sure?" I go, "Oh no, I'm positive."
Yeah.
And
So
it wasn't cheap either. It was
no,
like $80, wasn't
no,
it?
it was almost $100.
Yeah.
Yeah. So most Canadian whiskeys are blended.
And it was a blend. It was
They're-
blended. It was
They're grain spirit based. So those are kind of some of the reasons that they just haven't kind of fared well and come up to the level of some of the other categories that we like so much on the show. So, but look, we needed to do a show on it. I think, as we'll talk about in the Wizard, I mean, they are starting to come into their own. They're starting to really attempt to get some premium whiskeys out there. So I think it's only a matter of time before we'll see some really good offerings in larger amounts coming from Canada. So.
Yeah, and this one has a great chance of being good because it's produced by the Italian beverage company Campari Group.
That's all you had to say, Negro. That's all you had to say. That's what I'm talking about.
There you go.
But the
You got to put that in a paper bag, kids. I'm telling you.
The popularity was 80s, mid 80s, so there's probably a lot of stuff been put away that's going to be coming out now. Don't you think?
You try it first and let us know.
All right.
Yeah, and we always say everybody's got different
No,
palate,
that's true.
and people
That's
may
true.
like different things.
Sure.
It's just our opinion. We are not big Canadian, and I will speak for Greg and I, not big Canadian whiskey fans.
Nor I. But I thought, really we're the Whiskey Roundtable. It's a region. We've talked about all the others in great detail, so it was time. It's time we did a show on it.
Absolutely.
Talked about Canadian whiskey, and hey, if even if it's the reasons we don't like it in general, those are still things to talk about. And like I said, I think that is changing. So I think the timing's good to open up this door, if you will. So.
Absolutely, and who's for us to walk in that door and try some of this.
Yeah, I mean, I have a ton of friends that are Crown Royal fans. My brother Frankie, Steve, Donnelly, Richie Zukowski. Those guys they're big, huge Crown Royal fans.
And as we say on the
Richie's
show, if you like it, you like it.
Absolutely.
Drink it. Don't
Absolutely.
worry what the experts say.
Richie turned me on to the black because I told him, I said, "I'm not a Crown Royal guy." He says, "Well, you're going to like this one." He brought me black over. This was some years ago. And I was like, "You know what, Richie, you're right. I could see why you drink this." And this was before I was a whiskey guy. It was good stuff. It really was. Yeah.
And that's the thing, we're going to keep trying because things change over time.
Right.
People, get their recipes, update them, different flavors. So, hey, I'm going to do our
Have
thing.
any of y'all ever tried this?
I have not.
No,
No,
we've
none of us.
never had it. It's just something. It was one of the brands when I was doing research for the Wizard for tonight. It was one of the things that came up. This company and their brand as trying to really bring more premium level products to the Canadian whiskey market. So that's why I thought we'd give it a try. But I didn't want to get their best. I wanted to get kind of their, we'll call it average or entry level offering, and start with that. Maybe we'll try one of the other ones later. So.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So it is one of the most awarded and recognized of all of the Canadian whiskeys. They've won a lot of awards recently, and they do have different varieties. They've got a Copper Pot Reserve, which won a bronze medal at the Canadian Whiskey Awards. A Double Barrel Reserve, which won a silver at the Canadian Whiskey Awards. And they have a Confederation Oak Reserve, which you like the oaky flavors.
Yeah.
It won Whiskey of the Decade honors at the Canadian Whiskey Awards. What we have here is the Barrel Select. It's a 90 proof, and it won a gold medal at the New York International Spirits Competition.
Well, there you go.
So I'm excited to try this. Sidecar, I know you're watching tonight. This distillery is about an hour away from you, up in Grimsby, Ontario. Right now, the store and the distillery is closed because of COVID, so don't know when it's going to reopen back up.
Sidecar, get your ass up there and camp out for a couple of weeks. Quit screwing around. Lazy ass son of a bitch.
But, if you're looking for something to do, it's about an hour away.
Poor Sidecar. I miss him, man. I do. I miss the hell out of
I know.
him.
Can you believe it? We actually miss him.
Yeah.
Dang.
I miss. Listen, I had to take over your cooking skills that you left.
Yeah, you have been.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's right.
Me and him got a lot of history together. Unbelievable history. So.
Good times.
Great times. Even before we became good friends, we have a lot of history together. I'll let Ralph tell that story someday.
Oh my!
Did you have any more on the whiskey?
What's that?
Oh,
good.
That's really about it that I have, because it's been, it is very new. I don't have a lot. So if you have something else you want to...
One of the other things about this particular one that I wanted to talk about is, usually you make a mash bill of your different grains, you ferment that, and then you distill it, and that goes into barrels. Well, what's different about this is they've taken grain, corns, they've taken corn and distilled that, they mashed it and distilled it, then they've taken rye, mashed and distilled that, and then some malted barley, mashed and distilled that, and then they aged those spirits in oak separately, and then at the time of bottling is only when they took those aged separate spirits and then blended them. So it's kind of unique in that way. So, well, let's see what we got. Why don't we? It's time to taste. I think.
Pass it out.
Pass these bad boys out. Very rich amber color is what I notice off the bat.
I don't want to confuse. Okay.
You don't confuse.
Yeah, nice.
It's got legs.
Nice, kind of dark honey, right? Good whiskey color.
Do you guys have some of this? Do you want some of this? Later?
Wait till after? All right. We'll give you some at the Whiskey Wizard time.
All right, let's nose this thing.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because I'm smoking a cigar tonight, but I'm not getting a heavy notes. I get some oak.
I was going to say I get oak or a little bit of dry oak, maybe.
I get like some butterscotch for sure, and it's like a candy, but almost like caramel candy corn.
Candy corn.
It's like very sweet.
Do you think the weather, the aging, has anything to do with the contraction and expansion of the barrels?
Absolutely.
Has anything to do with
It has everything to do with it.
Definitely.
All right, so just I get oak. I get like maybe a peach or an apricot out of it.
Yeah, I get some little bit of fruit in here, but I definitely get some corn. Like I said, sugar.
Corn. Yeah.
Sugar. I get some definite candy. I want to call it candy corn. That's all. And butterscotch. So sweetness on the nose for sure.
Rob, how about you?
A little woody, oaky, and a little of that. Yeah, that sweet. It's kind of a sweet smell.
Yeah, I get the sweet smell as soon as you said that.
Not
too,
a lot of. No burn. Not a lot of odor though. It's not a lot on the nose.
No, I agree. All right.
Yep.
All right.
Should we go in and try this?
Let's give it a try, man. All right, kids. Ooh. Oh.
So
I get a big splash of walnut out of it.
I get more of the butterscotch and definitely the candy sweetness.
I'm not.
I didn't read the nose notes.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Greg. You pretty much hit it on the head with apricot. Apricot fused with toasted oak, black walnut, and spice.
I get a big splash of walnut on it.
It also features.
I'm
on
a
the
walnut fan, kids.
He is. Also features aromas of honey and vanilla. So I'm sorry, I forgot to read that.
Fantastic.
That's probably where the sweetness comes in there with the.
I get front up walnut, black walnut, front up.
I'm sticking with butterscotch and toffee. I get a little bit of spice in there and maybe some nut, a little bit of nuttiness.
It's short. It's a short finish. I get a lot of dry oak out of it. I definitely get oak out of it. No ifs, ands, or buts. I usually don't mention vanilla so much because most of the 90% of the time you're going to get that. It's always there.
Yeah.
So I don't usually
kind
mention
of a given,
it. Yeah.
But yeah.
But I get I definitely get prominent walnut, black walnut, and I definitely get dry oak out of it. When I was smelling it, I said peach or apricot. I'm not getting it on the flavor right at the moment, but I did smell that in there. One of those two. You said it was apricot?
On the nose.
On the nose? Okay.
Yeah, I never, just maybe a hint of fruit. I never really got much fruit on this, but big on the candy store.
Man,
for sure.
Straight up walnut. Damn. Very good.
There you go.
Straight
I like
up
it.
walnut. Straight up. I will agree with you. Straight up walnut. Although I don't get much more out of it.
A little vanilla.
Yeah.
Well,
I get that oaky dry. Like
talk about some of the
Absolutely.
different genetics where maybe you really do get a heavy walnut, whereas somebody else interprets it as something else.
Definitely not nut skins.
But for me,
No nut skins, Jen.
no nut skins. And by the way, I just want to thank Jennifer Boggs again for being on the show last week.
Yes.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we had a great time with her, as always. Her
She's
and Tony
so fun.
both. They're good people.
And breakfast the next day was
Breakfast was
nice.
fantastic. Thank you again.
delicious. Yes, thank you.
Again. I mean, McDonald's makes a great breakfast, but I wasn't expecting the whole
That
pancake thing
McGriddle
and all
is
that.
Griddle,
fantastic.
right? That's a fantastic. Hey, we don't scrimp. We
even got hash browns.
Yeah, we got to pass it through the windows of the car, can't go inside, you know what I'm saying. It was good, though. Before I left, I'm not going to lie to you, I got one of those egg and bacon biscuits. I love that. So.
Oh, yeah,
that place was fantastic.
Really
by the way.
was.
Yeah,
good.
it was.
It really
It was
was.
a
That's a good
pick.
call, man. That
You
was
could
a
just
real-
go there and just get those biscuits, and I would have been fine with that.
They were fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
They were fantastic.
Yeah.
Any other comments on the palate or the finish from
No, I'm
anybody?
For me,
sticking with-
sweet on the finish again too. Like as you guys said, it's not very long. It's not particularly complex. Medium, I would guess. I get more kind of the corn graininess, if you will, on the finish. That's about it for me, and a little more of the wood. We talked about.
Yeah,
there is
sure.
definitely an oak character.
Sure, absolutely.
Hopefully, it's due to actual wood. So.
As opposed to
Well, artificial flavoring.
Canadian could have been maple. You
As
never
we'll
know.
learn, is allowed in Canadian whiskey, whereas you couldn't call something a rye or a bourbon in America if it had artificial flavoring or coloring in it. So we don't know. I honestly don't know on this. I couldn't find anything out about that. So I'm sure if there was, they wouldn't disclose it. So anyway.
Yeah.
But maybe before we do our ratings, let's let them see the bottle again. Should-
Oh.
let's see the bottle. While I'm digging that out, the palate, they say robust, complex, rich, and bold flavors of vanilla, honey, cocoa, and toasted earthiness. The finish is a smooth, lingering, memorable finish.
It is. For me, it was.
So that's what they say. So
Awesome.
hey,
Is they their marketing department?
they
They.
is the 40 Crick website.
Okay.
Creek.
Hey everyone,
I
it's
don't
time for the
know.
bottle
Bottle
cam.
cam?
The bottle
Okay.
cam.
Let's take another ride on the ball.
Very good. I like it. I really do. You're leaving it here, aren't you?
Absolutely.
No, I'm just teasing.
No, you're funny.
I'm busting.
So yeah, I mean, if it's black walnut, I understand, Greg, why you're saying you're such a fan of it.
Well, I'm interested in the scoring, but I think just my intuition says, well, we're going to let Greg go last on this.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good idea.
All right.
Should we start with the
Well,
guests
good.
first, or
Yeah, why don't we have Rob go first on this one? And Rob, you're familiar with our Whiskey Roundtable
I
scoring
am.
system, right?
So who's going first? You, Doug?
Rob is going to go.
Oh, Rob's going first. All right. Scale of what? 1 to 4?
1 to 5?
1 to 5. Sorry.
It is a little woody. It's a very short finish, eh?
It is short finish. Oh.
Hey,
shit.
I got it.
Oh, what time you leaving?
Good, not a must-have, but it is good. Doesn't have the bite of the other Canadian whiskeys that are on the bar. I would say like a 3.4.
Wow.
Okay. All right.
Very respectable
I
score.
was
Start
just gonna
smoke
say.
killing you.
Very respectable score.
Not a must-have, but
All right, we'll go this way. So that brings it to me. I got to admit, I'm not a big fan.
Wow.
I find it.
Wow.
I find it very. To me, it's kind of narrow, and the main profile I get off this is sweet, and that's not necessarily something I look for in a whiskey. So, I'm coming in at a 2.4 on this.
Get the hell out of here! Wow. Wow,
But
Doug.
again, I could easily. I think this would probably make a good mixed drink. It'd be good for that. I wouldn't be ashamed to have it on my bar, but it's just, as a sipping whiskey, it's not. At least it's not in my wheelhouse. So.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Doug, I'm right there with you on this. I didn't get a lot on the nose. I did not get a lot on the taste or the finish. It's just pretty monotone with that. I think it's not terrible. I won't say it's terrible, but I'm going to go with the 2.3.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't have to hold my nose to drink it or anything like that. It's just not doesn't like. I know we get spoiled because we do so many fantastic whiskeys all the time. So.
Very good point. We do, and it doesn't help that I was drinking the Michters before this too. So,
but no, it should have to stand up to. That should be fine.
You.
I don't.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, G. What do you think?
Straight up 3.4. I'm sorry. Yeah, 3.45.
3.45. Okay. So you and Rob are more aligned on this.
That's what I'm talking
That's
about.
fine.
3.45.
That is fine.
very respectable.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
It's funny how people's palates, some,
Yeah.
but I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm a walnut guy.
And you're
I
not
do a lot
guy
of
that
cooking.
likes, and you're not a guy that really likes sweet whiskey either, but it's giving you some things that you definitely like. So just for me, the sweetness comes through as the primary thing that hits me, and that's just not something I look for.
Holidays, I usually cook. I'm cooking. I do bakery and all kinds of stuff.
Baking would probably be this would be a great whiskey.
So I like,
and
I'm
a baking recipe.
I probably put more walnuts in my mouth, eating and chewing them as before I put them. I spit them out into the cookies.
Black
Everybody
walnuts,
loves them.
I love them too.
Stick of butter, no big deal.
Why you always gotta have nuts in your mouth? Why you always gotta?
I was about to ask you the same question. How come you don't have nuts in your mouth? But anyway.
Because we're on camera right now. Anyway,
What do you expect? This is the Whiskey Roundtable.
What do you got on the scroll, kids?
Okay.
what do we got on the scroll? We got Ralph and Steve going back and forth.
Oh, hell.
But Steve says that 40 Crick has a couple of specialty blends with age that are good.
Okay.
But he said if Sidecar goes up to Canada to get this, they're not going to let him back in the States. So
Get your ass up there, Ralph. Yeah, go see Frank. No, Frank's in. Yeah, that's right. Frank's in Canada. I forgot. You're exactly. Go see Frank. He's got quite the selection.
Oh, I bet he
He
does.
gets the best of the best. Frankie does for sure. Absolutely.
All right, so I guess it's time, right?
Is it wizard time?
For the Whiskey Wizard, and tonight's topic, of course, is Canadian whiskey.
All right, kids. We'll be right back.
Hang tight.
Whiskey Wizard! It's the Whiskey Wizard!
Hello and welcome to the Whiskey Wizard, where we say whiskey making takes scientific knowledge, an artisan's skill and dedication, and a bit of the wizard's alchemy of light, air, earth, and fire. Okay, so let's look at Canadian whiskey and its market. We've talked specifics on the Scottish, Irish, and American whiskey categories, but thus far we've not ventured northwards in our discussions to address Canadian whiskey. Again, it's always a good idea to take a look around at how the various industry segments are doing and to see the direction that things are moving. 2020 was a very good year again for the overall whiskey industry, despite the global pandemic, as discussed on previous episodes, with 33% revenue increases from a 2018 baseline estimated to occur by 2026. It seems that the Canadian market has seen an increase, but not to the extent that premium American, Scottish, and Irish whiskies have. To begin with, Canadian whiskies are characteristically blends of whiskies made from a single grain, principally corn and rye, but also sometimes wheat or barley. Mash bills of multiple grains may also be used for some flavoring whiskies that are also used in the blends. Spirit made from American corn with its high starch content has resulted in its primary use to create base whiskeys to which flavoring whiskeys are blended in. Again, I think this is reason number one that Canadian whiskey has not garnered as many serious fans due to its heavy blending with a high proof grain spirit as the foundation. So what makes Canadian whiskey Canadian? Canadian whiskey doesn't have nearly as many legal requirements as do bourbon and Scotch. For example, bourbon has to be produced in the United States from a grain mixture that's at least 51% corn and must be aged in new charred oak barrels. It can be distilled to no more than 160 proof, and it has to enter into the barrel for aging at no more than 125 proof. When it's bottled, the spirit has to be at least 80 proof. In addition, bourbon can't contain any added colorings or flavorings. Okay, if you've paid attention to the past Whiskey Wizard episodes, you probably remember this. For Canadian whiskey, I'll bet you'll have a bit less stuff that you'll have to remember. It seems the description of Canada rye whiskey and Canadian whiskey are interchangeable. American rye whiskey must be at least 51% rye, of course, but there's no legal requirement for a rye percentage in Canadian whiskey. Corn is still usually the majority grain, as we've said. While most people consider Canadian whiskey to be lighter than American whiskeys, there's actually a fairly broad range when we're talking whiskey from Canada. Canadian whiskey has to be aged a minimum of 3 years in Canada in wooden barrels no larger than 700 liters. The barrels can be new, old, charred, or uncharred. It doesn't really matter. I'm not even certain that it has to be oak. It is also must be mashed and distilled in Canada. The resulting alcohol content may exceed 90%, so it's usually diluted down with water. Blending a spirit with water from 90% to 40% can take away a lot of good flavor compounds, basically the goodness, and natural colors, which is why Canadian whiskey is allowed to add artificial flavoring and coloring. Okay, maybe this is perhaps reason number two why this category isn't taken quite as seriously by whiskey appreciators. When bottled, it has to be at least 40% ABV. So those are pretty much the legal requirements for Canadian whiskey. In the 50s and 60s, Canadian whiskey was quite popular when we see the high-rolling characters downing their CC on the rocks on shows like Mad Men. It would seem to be more than simple product placement. Following Prohibition, which closed many American distilleries, and World War II, when some of the major American distilleries began producing fuel and other products, it took a while for American distilleries to catch back up. So smartly, Canadian distillers came to the rescue for whiskey-thirsty consumers. But look, more quality-conscious Canadian products are being released to appeal to more educated and refined whiskey palates. There are now about 300 craft distillers in Canada. Here are some recommendations I found with a bit of research. 40 Creek seems to stand out as a premium Canadian spirit maker. And there's Lot 40. I guess 40 is a big number up north. Pike Creek and J.P. Weiser's. Gooderham and Wirtz. Perhaps another to consider is, of course, Masterson's. And also add to the list of ones to try Gibson's and Alberta's Dark Batch Rye. And perhaps Canadian Club's Chairman Select Rye is also one that's worthy of a shot. And I'll round it out with suggesting one more you might like to try, Caribou Crossing Single Barrel. If nothing else, the name totally conjures up images that are wholesomely north of the border. And it seems BC is getting known for making some fine single malts that at least one whiskey author predicts will soon achieve world renown. BC, of course, has very restrictive excise and trade restrictions on producers that may have to be cleaned up before that really happens. So we shouldn't totally overlook whiskeys made by our neighbors up north. With the whiskey industry at large still ripe for premium offerings, I'm sure we'll soon see more fine whiskeys flowing down from up there. This is Douglas Dunbar, the Whiskey Wizard, for the Whiskey Round Table. Cheers, Sanjava, and now back to the live show, eh?
All right.
Oh, sorry, I was pouring myself a bottle and
A bottle.
a whole bottle.
A glass?
No nipple. Just
whole
straight up. That's not my cow water, girl. Go ahead.
Oh dear. Oh dear. So that was a great wizard there, Doug.
Yeah, I mean, Canadian whiskey's got some ways to go, but it's coming on. It's coming on. I predict good things in the future.
Well, I was surprised. Some of the things you were showing, I didn't realize Masterson's was Canadian.
Yeah.
And you showed Caribou Crossing, which I have had,
Oh, okay.
and really, really liked.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's
right.
so definitely some things out there that people should try.
Yeah. That Caribou Crossing is fantastic. It's a blended and actually owned by Buffalo Trace.
There you go.
So.
And you can get it at the Village Martini Bar.
Amen. That's where we had it.
Well, if Buffalo Trace owns it, we can get it for now.
Yeah, that's true.
For now.
For now.
A little inside. Whiskey unit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I switched up to the Canadian Club, so I'm keeping with the Canadian theme here.
Yeah.
So going with, all right. What about Big G? You don't get no love
What do you want? What do you want?
Try that. 100% rye Canadian Club. All right.
Hey, Kayla, she's on.
What's up, Kayla? Let's talk about Kayla for a
Kayla
minute.
had a show last night at the Commodore Grill in Nashville, a famous place for songwriters to hang out, and people come to see them do their original songs. And she's been playing there. This is, I think, her third time. But last night she did she and her partner, who wrote our theme song that people hear at the end of the show, If Whiskey Stops Working, they performed it live. She and Kinsley Melhorn, who co-wrote it with her, and they did a nice rendition of it. The crowd really loved it. And beforehand, she did a nice plug for the Whiskey Roundtable.
She did.
So, yeah.
Very cool.
I shot
you,
her early this morning while she was still sleeping. At 3 o'clock this afternoon. No, just kidding.
Nice.
I sent her a nice message, and I was very nice. Really, I wish I could have been there to hear it.
I know.
It's cool. Yeah.
We kind of watched it live. Lindsay had her phone on FaceTime, so that's how we got to see
very
it.
cool.
Beautiful girl,
But it was-
very
it was
beautiful
neat.
daughter. Absolutely.
Both of them.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. A great time, and the girl that performed, there,
Kinsley, yeah.
Kinsley did it.
Yeah. Another pretty girl for sure.
They did some great songs. Kinsley did a great song called Addison's Treehouse, which I thought was fantastic. Never
Watch
heard
it.
it before. So.
Yep.
Very talented, both of
Yeah,
them are.
absolutely.
And you guys
Absolutely.
have seen them on the special shows we've done for Christmas
Right.
and
Yep.
Halloween.
Yep.
Yeah.
And very, very, very talented.
And of
Absolutely.
course, Kayla does our opening theme song as well on the show. So, yeah. News?
All right.
Shall we do whiskey news?
Yeah, you go first.
We did. You got some?
I do, but you go
Okay.
first.
Well, we kind of touched upon this the last time we did news, and we decided not to do news. So, from Fairport, New York, legendary guitarist John Petrucci, from the heavy metal band Dream Theater. Okay, Kurt knows. Rocking the world with his first signature bourbon, Rock the Barrel, generated from an exclusive collaboration with Iron Smoke Whiskey. The craft bourbon comes in at a full 120 proof, ready to blow the mind.
Awesome.
So, Iron Smoke
120.
Rock the Barrel is the name of that. Master Distiller Drew Westcott with Iron Smoke put this together with John Petrucci, and it's a limited edition release, so it came out on May 3rd. So priced at just $200 a bottle. So,
Oh, is that all?
yeah. May 3rd, Russell's Reserve just released their 13-year. It's coming off the bottling line as we speak at Wild Turkey.
Yep.
The release is 114.8 proof, and it will be released at barrel proof, non-chill filter, MSRP of $70. So I will do my best to procure one of those for sure.
Me too. Absolutely.
In fact, we should try to feature it on November, which is Wild Turkey Month. So.
Awesome.
Kilchoman, one of my favorite Isla whiskeys from Scotland, has come out with their anticipated Loch Gorm. It just became available in April, so that's out now. It's got a sherry finish, Oloroso sherry butt finish. Oh, it's I think it's been aged only in Oloroso sherry from Bodega Miguel Martin in Spain. So normally, right, it would normally be ex-bourbon first fill casks for most of its aging, and then usually finished in sherry. But this has been aged its entire time in sherry. So I would love to try that one.
No?
Cleveland Whiskey's Underground Bourbon Whiskey, finished with black cherry wood, was awarded the rare double gold medal at their Underground Rye Whiskey. At the San Francisco World Spirits
Oh,
Conference.
wow.
All right.
So-
Step in their game.
And that's one of the kind of very prestigious to win that, because it's all blind taste testing
Oh,
and
okay.
judging.
Beautiful.
And Wheat Penny Bourbon also was awarded the silver medal.
Wheat Penny is
So-
fantastic. Absolutely
Yeah.
fantastic.
Never
these
had
guys brought it.
any of those. I've been a little reluctant, but maybe I'll have to give them a try.
Yeah.
Wheat Penny's fantastic.
Yeah, we've
You
had-
guys brought me that bottle. Very, very good. I was like, I was not a fan of Cleveland whiskey. I won't go there.
Yeah.
I'm not being insulting. I'm just saying that they had the when we were at
We're at Burntwood Tavern.
Burntwood, and they
They had the black cherry there.
black cherry
That's
there,
what I was
which
gonna
was
say.
fantastic as
Yeah,
well.
it really
So,
was good.
Really was good. So have to give them their props.
So what do you got, G?
High West. High West is making Rendezvous Rye limited edition art bottle. So the product's
Oh.
still going to be the same. It's just the label. It's going to be a limited edition. Utah-based High West Distillery is moving one of its flagship whiskeys to a seasonal release. So you're only going to get it at a certain time. High West Rendezvous Rye will now be released annually as a vintage whiskey featuring unique artwork each time, each bottle. So $70 a bottle, that's what you're going to pay for it. Rendezvous Rye has a long been one of the underrated products in the High West portfolio, but it looks like the distillery has decided that it deserves some more attention. They'll be starting this looking new bottle at in its new image this time, so that's coming out. So I have to give a shout out to Joe Clark, who used to be part of the Whiskey Roundtable. He's the one that got me going with High West. So,
Yeah.
So thanks Joe for that, and looking forward to drinking that bottle, man. So see what happens. All right.
Yeah, they do make really, really good whiskeys.
They do.
They do, and we're one of those
Their
private
campfire's
bottlers we
fantastic.
talked about that don't
Sure.
really distill. They contract distill, and then they bottle. So, and they do some good stuff for sure. Something interesting. Berkshire Mountain Distillers presents their Craft Brewers Whiskey Project. That's something new that's just come out. This is a very interesting concept. So they basically take beer and then they distill it and create whiskeys from some of the famous beers like Sam Adams, Boston Lager, and some other different beers that are popular, Jack's Abbey, some other certainly in the Boston area, and then they've distilled those. They've taken those beer worts, if you will, those finished before they go into bottling, and then distilled that. Because as we've talked about, beer making, I mean, basically whiskey making in a lot of ways parallels making beer, but then other than the hop, you don't put any hops in there, but then you basically create a grain mash and then you distill it. So apparently they've got everything in there they would normally have, including the hops, and then they go ahead and distill it. So that would be something interesting to try, I think.
Yeah, and,
Yeah,
you know,
I agree.
we toured Sam Adams when we were in Boston. Our daughter went to college there, and we toured.
Turd? He turned.
Toured.
He turned. He probably did turd there too.
I did turd there. Right on the floor. Couldn't wait. It was fantastic. You know,
Hey, Big G, that's really quite damn impressive.
the tour there. Who invited him?
Hey, we're listening up. It's a good show.
So anyway, but the tour was fantastic. We had a great time.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of fun. They kept you entertaining us as we went through, and it was a lot of laughs and a lot of good times. And we're able to sample all of the different products that they put into their beers per beer. And it was all good, and we had a blast. It was a great time.
It was a great time.
It really was.
really
If
good.
you ever in Boston,
I
go
think
check
Boston,
it out, man.
I don't drink a lot of beer anymore, but I still say Sam Adams Boston Lager is one of my favorite beers.
Yeah, I like Sam Adams.
They
I like
use
their
those Hallertau Mittelfrau hops, which are German, and they're very hard to get. They're very hard to manage, but they still use that very delicate rare hop. And
their
that's a
Oktoberfest
great
beer is fantastic.
And their Oktoberfest is a really
Fantastic.
nice,
Absolutely
nice beer as well.
awesome.
So a few more, but we'll save them for next time.
All right.
Because, you know, we're running up against our.
We
time.
are running up against our
What do we
time.
got on the scroll? Anything?
Let me check real quick. Rob, you have any last words to speak? Wow,
No.
really?
Well-
Really? Could you keep
Hey,
it down? We really gotta
Hey,
go.
could you shut up? It's only an hour show, dude. All right, appreciate it. What time are you leaving?
No, it's a good experience. Been trying a lot of different whiskeys, and this is
Well, we appreciate you doing
Something
the
new.
show.
It's something
Yeah.
new to add to the list, right? And you know, that's just it's an expanding world when you get into whiskey. There's just so much out there
Yep.
to try it, and that's what keeps it fun. That's why we do this show.
Absolutely.
And you never know. And I'm always intrigued by new things. And as we were just reading the news, there's so much new and different stuff happening in the world of whiskey. So it's an exciting time.
It is.
It definitely is.
Want to thank Rob Richter for doing the show with us today. We appreciate you. Thank you very much.
For letting us beat you up.
Yeah, letting us, make
It's hard.
Is that beer over there you're drinking? They don't look like no Pabst Blue Ribbon. I thought it was Natty Light for a minute. But anyway, so we have any closing quotes?
Well, yeah, it'll be. Again, thanks for watching. If you're with us live or you're watching this later on, we won't be back for the next 2 weeks. Well, the next 2 weeks we're off, I should say. We won't be back. Just stuff going on, right?
Sure.
Yep.
Wedding, we got Memorial
something
Weekend. Sure.
special going on next week. And,
Sure.
but we'll be back on our usual time on Friday night, June 4th. And what happens in June?
Whiskey
Birthday.
and Cigar Month.
It's Whiskey and Cigar Month here on the Whiskey Roundtable the whole month. So every week we have some other facet of cigars, tobacco, and then pairing fine cigars with fine whiskeys. So we'll be talking about that all throughout the month of June. So
Awesome.
Everybody should tune in for that. Even if you're not that into cigars, I think I had a lot of fun. I learned a lot in just doing all those episodes.
It was a good time. It was
had
cool
a lot of
doing
fun
it.
doing
We
it, and
enjoyed doing it for sure.
And we'll thank all the people involved when we get there after our short 2-week hiatus. So don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page if you haven't done that already. Follow us on Facebook. If you have any comments or you want to be a guest on the show, you can comment on Facebook, or you can email us directly at thewhiskeyroundtable@gmail.com. Okay, so now it's time for our closing quote, and this comes from Brett Pappy Maverick from the television series of the same name. He said, "Never cry over spilt milk. It could have been whiskey."
This is true.
All right, kids. Hey, listen, thanks for spending your time with us for the last hour. Appreciate everything. We'll see you back in 2 weeks. Safe travels. Be careful. And we're looking forward to a lot better shows. I shouldn't say a lot better shows. More shows. Better. More better.
More
Thank
better.
you. More better. All right. More
More.
better. So,
More shows.
there you go. All right, so catch you guys in 3 weeks, right?
Tree.
Three
June
weeks.
4th. We'll see you
3
on
weeks.
June 4th, gang.
With Kilkelman is the
With
plan.
with Kilkelman Seneg, something I'm certainly looking forward
I
to.
bet you are.
All right.
Yeah, thanks again, Rob. Really
Thanks, Rob.
appreciate
Yes, thanks,
you
Rob.
coming on.
Thank you.
Fantastic. So,
All right. We are your hosts, Big G.
Karen Helen Keller.
Doug Dunbar.
Rob Richter.
All right. Catch you guys later. Safe
Have a
travels.
great
Enjoy your
weekend.
weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So long, everyone.
All right.
If whiskey stopped working, every bar in town would be closing their doors, shutting down. Everybody would be trapped with their thoughts, 'cause nothing numbs the pain like bourbon or scotch. Oh no, oh no, no. If whiskey stopped working, where the hell would I be? Probably wasting lots of money trying therapy. If whiskey stopped working, what the hell would I do? Honestly, to tell you the truth, I wouldn't be over you. Whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped working, oh, whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped. Poor Jack D would be out of a job. Jameson and Bean would be cut off. Hank Williams songs wouldn't make any sense. Yeah, this whole damn world would be a mess. Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. If whiskey stopped working, where the hell would I be? Probably wasting lots of money trying therapy. what the hell would I do? Honestly, to tell you the truth, I wouldn't be over you. Whiskey stopped working if whiskey stopped working. Whiskey stopped working if whiskey stopped working. Whiskey stopped working if whiskey stopped. If whiskey stopped working, where the hell would I be? Probably halfway out of this town, leaving Tennessee. If whiskey stopped working, what the